Hey Duelist, it's Docs once again with a deck profile. This one's a little bit different. It's inspired by just from being back in the day. You open up a booster pack and you're like, what is the next best card in this that I can just add to my deck? So this is kind of like a beatdown style deck. There's a lot of like fun piercing mechanics and stuff. Couple random boss monsters for fun. It really keeps your opponent guessing. And there's some really funny, odd situations that come up. So I've got a Black Tyranno, Summon a Skull, Dark Driceratops, Goblin Attack Force, Gaia Soul, the Combustible Collective, 2 Blazing Inpachi, a Spear Dragon, Spirit of Flames, 2 UFO Turtle, a Solar Flare Dragon, Charcoal Inpachi, a Raging Flame Sprite, a Inaba White Rabbit, Pitch-Black Warwolf, Gilasaurus, Molten Zombie, Cyberjar, and the final monster, Man-Eater Bug. For spells, there is Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, Premature Burial, Nobleman of Crossout, Snatch Steal, Book of Moon, Smashing Ground, Block Attack, Enemy Controller, Swords of Concealing Light, and an Axe of Despair. That would be all of the spell cards used. For traps, there's Mirror Force, Call the Haunted, Bottomless Trap Hole, a Spellbinding Circle, Miniaturize, Threatening Roar, Dust Tornado, Zero Gravity, Mirror Wall, and a Solemn Judgement. There are a lot of crazy kind of fun combinations that can happen. Black Tyranno gets to attack your opponent directly if all their monsters are in defense position. So there are fun ways to force them into defense mode, such as block attack, enemy controller, zero gravity setup. Then there's just those weird cards like Miniaturize, Spellbinding Circle that are just going to be very odd that your opponent's just going to be kind of confused about. The Swords of Concealing Light is great, putting them in defense mode. Boom, you can attack directly with Black Tyranno. Dark Driceratops is piercing. Gaia Soul, the Combustible Collective, is pretty hilarious. You know, being a 2000 attack monster, he's destroyed at the end phase. Let me read the rest of his effects. You contribute up to 2 Pyro-type monsters on your side of the field. If you do, increase the attack of this monster by the number of attributed monsters times 1,000 points. And then he's piercing, and then he is destroyed during the end phase. So if you've got one other Pyro monster on the field, you contribute that monster. If you've got 2, you contribute 2 of them to get Gaia Soul to 3,000 or even 4,000 attack plus piercing. That'd be a pretty crazy turn. What's also fun with UFO Turtle, you have the ability to pull Charcoal Inpachi just for some defense, a Solar Flare Dragon, which is hilarious, by the way, being able to, when you control another Pyro-type monster, this card cannot be attacked. And then inflicts 500 damage to your opponent during the end phase of your turn. So it's possible if you have him on your first turn, your opponent's just going to take 500 life points of damage just from him being out on the field, which just cracks me up, honestly. Raging Flame Sprite and Inaba, they're going to attack directly. And Raging Flame Sprite is going to get an extra 1,000 attack anytime she does successfully attack directly. Molten Zombie is pretty cool. He just lets you draw a card whenever he's special summoned. That's pretty much the only reason he's in here, as well as for being a Pyro-type monster, which would be fodder for the Gaia Soul or even the Solar Flare Dragon. There's a lot of just kind of weird, kind of old school, different kind of like styles in here that I've had a lot of fun with playing. And I use some, bad type, trap cards on purpose. Just for the fun of it, it's different. There's different situations that happen. It's so much different from, the norm of playing, kind of like the classic type decks and cards in there. So as you can see, there are a handful of staples in here. But the types of interactions that come out from playing this deck are really just hilarious. So it is a ton of fun. I encourage you guys to try the build out for yourself, or to even come up with your own kind of like, you know what, back in the day, whenever you were just pulling boosters and just adding to your one deck that you had, you know, to take down the street, you know, battle the neighbor kids and all that. What cards were kind of your favorites to use? I did think it was a fun idea just to add a Solemn Judgement to the deck, just one card, just to just kind of be OP, you know, because anybody, you know, if you battled them in the neighborhood or whatever when y'all were kids, and then, you know, one person in the neighborhood just has that really bomb card that everybody's kind of like jealous about, you know, and I feel like Solemn Judgement is definitely one of those. But here's the deck. I guess I'll just call it a beatdown type of deck. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.